Croeso i'r sioe decanoleg. I'm Manon Lloyd.
And I'm Dr. Oliver Bridgewood. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm Alex. Coming up this week, we've got a super expensive 3D printed power meter, new fancy pants clothing, new bikes, and all the usual juicy good stuff.
And of course, our main talking point, where we're going to discuss if we should set our handlebars up like the pros.
Oh, I don't know, should we?
Let's find out. Right, let's start off with the results from the poll from last week. And we asked if you could spread the cost of a 10k bike over 5 years, would you sign up? And 38% of you said, hell yeah, sign me up. 43% said, no way, too much for a bike. And 19%, not sure.
I'm surprised by that. I thought more people would have been prepared to spend more money on a bike if they could spread the cost.
Yeah.
A little bit like what you do with a car.
Yeah, that's true. You'd do that without even thinking, wouldn't you?
Oh well, the people have voted. Anyway, on to our main talking point for this week, because I'm presuming that 99.9% of people just have their levers or their shifters on their bikes set up in a neutral position, so, you know, facing forwards, and have probably never considered changing it up. I mean, well, why would you?
Yeah, exactly. But something I spotted on the weekend whilst watching the racing on the GCN app was a number of pro riders change the angle of their shifter, so having them pointing in slightly.
Yeah. Now, this isn't exactly something new, is it? We've seen this for the last few years, but what is becoming apparent is we're seeing more and more pros in the World Tour level doing this. But it's actually a trend that started a few years back by some lower level riders, and at the time they took quite a bit of stick online for it by people saying that it was dangerous.
Yeah, some of the pro riders were saying it was dangerous, and now some of them are doing it. And this got us wondering, are we missing a trick here? Is this something that we should be doing too?
Well, maybe, but some of the riders that spring to mind that are doing this, we've got riders such as Tim Wellens, Taco van der Hoorn, Remco, Victor Campenaerts. So these are some big names in World Tour cycling, aren't they?
Not many females are doing it as of yet. But maybe we'll see more of it in the future. But first of all, let's talk about the advantages of riding in this position. The sole advantage of this position is to make you more aerodynamic, to reduce your frontal area and make you just that little bit smaller. And the riders that are doing this in the World Tour, they will have aerodynamic testing done by their team in a wind tunnel, and they'd found this is the best position that works for them. They're not just doing it for the banter. They are doing it for a reason, and that is to be more aerodynamic.
So if it's proven to be more aerodynamic, I understand that, but it doesn't exactly look like a sustainable position to ride in. You know, like with your wrists all at funny angles, it looks like it's going to be quite uncomfortable.
Well, I did see that Tim Wellens actually has some sort of gel underneath his handlebar tape to, you know, add a bit of comfort. So.
And I guess, like all bits like that, if you train and practice riding in that position, your body's going to adapt to it.
Exactly.
But it does beg the question to me is, why don't riders just use narrow handlebars?
That is a good question. I've been thinking that myself.
Well, should we go through it?
Yeah.
All right. So the first thing that springs to mind for me is that if you just use a super narrow handlebar, when you're riding on the drops and you want to ride out the saddle, you need a little bit more control, you're kind of going to be restricted slightly because the stability aspect of your bike has just reduced in so much, whereas turning your levers in means that you can still have a slightly wider handlebar, and then you're getting the benefits of the narrow handlebar on the hoods, but when you ride on the drops, you're getting a bit of extra stability. So that's...
But surely you could train that.
Yeah.
Because on the track, riders have super narrow handlebars, and...
If on the track, you don't ride out the saddle quite as much, do you? Not as much on the road. That's also why we're starting to see lots of different manufacturers and riders using a handlebar that has a slightly flared drop as well. So then you get the advantage of the narrow handlebar when you're riding on the hoods, and then as you go down to the drops, the bars are flared out slightly, so then you've got that extra bit of leverage.
Yeah, and it does also raise a question, if a lot more riders are riding this position, will bike manufacturers start changing the shape of the handlebars to
accommodate
to
well, I guess we've already
make
seen
it a bit more comfortable.
Some manufacturers have started making changes to handlebars. So think along the lines of the Pro Vibe Evo handlebar. So that's got a section where the handlebars are completely molded to mimic the shape and profile of the lever hoods. And then think along the lines of those crazy handlebars on the Ribble Ultra. They've been designed specifically to incorporate the shifters into a handlebar rather than making the handlebar fit the shifters. They've gone the opposite way around. So there's some interesting approaches from different manufacturers.
So it might be proven to be more aerodynamic, but are there any drawbacks to having this position.
Well, I think there are. So I think it's only a slight drawback, but I don't think you quite have the same control and access to your ability to brake and change gear. I mean, it's only very small, but that could be the difference between, I don't know, avoiding a crash or not. And also, if I'm going to be brutally honest, I don't like how it looks.
It does look a bit funny as well.
It reminds me of if you've crashed and bent your lever hood in.
Both of them.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah.
It's also a good thing to point out that it might work for some people in the World Tour, but it might not work for all of them. It might not be as aerodynamic for everybody. It might work for you, Alex. It might not be that aerodynamic for me. So it does depend on person to person. But shall we have a poll and see what you guys think?
Let's have a poll. Should riders in the World Tour continue to turn the levers in? Should we all do the same thing? Or is it just a fad that's going to go away?
Might not be here next year.
Yeah, well, head over to the GCN app, vote on our poll. We'll discuss this next week because I'm intrigued to see what everyone has to think.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It's now time for hot and spicy technology.
First up this week is a brand new bike developed from British company Isla Bikes. Now, this is a bike they've developed specifically for people with dwarfism, and it's really cool to see a brand invested in this.
Yeah, it is. So this all started back in 2020 when Isla Bikes started to do some investigating in what kind of bikes were out there for people with restricted growth, and they did have a number of people come to them asking about their kids' bike, if that would be the best bike for them, but it wasn't. So they actually decided to make their very own bike for people with dwarfism, and that is called the Joni bike.
Oh, this is cool. Developed from the ground up. I really like this. So the bike comes in two sizes. I've got some of the information here. You've got a larger 24-inch wheel or a 20-inch wheel option, and they've got proportionately designed components to make the bikes fit as accurately as they can. We've got a narrow handlebar, short reach brake levers, and then in the 20-inch wheel version, the cranks are just 102 millimeters long, whereas the large wheeled version has 117 millimeter cranks. Yeah, it's got 7-speed drivetrain, and it comes in super reasonable price actually.
Yeah, I thought that too.
$899.
Yeah, it's not bad.
That's in pounds. So we'll put the price up on the screen for euros and dollars as well. Yeah, I like that. Good to see brands investing in new bike designs.
Next up in hot tech, we've got some brand new bikes from Officina Batterina, and they make the most beautiful Italian steel bikes out there.
Check these bad boys out. Oh, they're incredible. Look at this thing.
Beautiful.
Exquisite.
Superb.
Delightful.
Excellent.
Fabulous.
Gorgeous.
Sublime. Do you know how else I'd describe them?
How else?
Cool.
They are very cool. But in all seriousness, very nice bikes. It's kind of like old school but modern bikes. I
really like the finishes they've got. Really nice, like steel-made bikes, and that sort of like mirrored, polished chrome finish.
I think that is the best chrome finish.
Yeah, fantastic. More of that, please. Up next, so we've got some new cycling shoes from a company called No Bull. Now, I actually came across this because I was served an ad on Instagram. How cool is that?
They must know you like cycling.
And shoes.
Yeah,
me summed up in two easy ways. So these are cycling shoes that caught my eye because they've got like big perforations all the way through the upper.
Basically, it's a shoe with lots of holes in.
Yeah, you've summed it up pretty well.
Yeah.
So maybe suited for, well, if you live in a hot country or if you do a lot of indoor riding or spin classes, stuff like that.
Probably not the best shoe for the winter here in the UK because your feet will probably drop off. They're so cold.
Yeah, that's
with those holes. But then I was probably thinking, if it is raining, it might be quite good because the water will just leak out because of the holes.
Okay.
Because you get a really soggy foot and then you get it off and then you can literally pour water out. You won't get that problem.
No. Interesting. Okay, they've got a lace-up closure system and the sole is constructed of nylon, but it says it has a carbon fibre plate installed in it, presumably to increase the stiffness as well. And we've got your standard 3-bolt fixing on there. The weight of these shoes, I nearly said 3 then, 238 grams in a size 8.
Not bad.
Loads of different colours as well, so it's pretty cool.
Next up in hot tech, we've got a rather spenny power meter. So Infocrank have designed a brand new 3D printed titanium crankset with an accuracy of less than 1%.
Oh, that's actually really accurate.
It's pretty accurate, yeah.
It looks super cool, this. I'm really into 3D printing. So they've developed this in partnership with Dimitris Katsanis. Now, he is a 3D printing and composites expert. He knows pretty much everything there is to know about this kind of stuff. And he's actually one of the key people behind lots of the super futuristic and high-tech equipment that all of, well, not all, but a lot of nations have used in Olympics that have passed before. So.
Yeah. They've actually got 2 different cranksets on the track, a standard one and an extra strong one. And I'm guessing the extra strong one is for the sprinters that put out an insane amount of power. And do you know the price of this?
I do want to know the price.
It's pretty eye-watering. It comes in at a price of £4,740. You could buy a lot of things for that. A fair few bikes for that.
I can say you can buy a few bikes for that. I've got some other stats here for you. So, as all power meters do, it measures the torque from a rider and also your cadence. Now, it measures the cadence every 1,000th of a second.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, lots of power meters are very accurate as well. But it also measures the torque at a rate of 256 times per second.
Per second?
Yeah, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Do you know what kind of titanium this is made out of?
I do, but tell me.
Okay, I'll tell you. So it's made from 6Al4V titanium.
Oh, I knew it, yeah, that was one. It's
melted with a high-powered laser beam, basically, that's inside a vacuum in the 3D printing machine.
Interesting.
It is pretty interesting, and I think there is a road version of this crank available, I think sort of springtime.
Yeah?
Yeah, with a 24mm Shimano-sized axle, so that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. We did also make a call to InfoCrank to see what the weight of the crankset was. They couldn't actually tell us, but they said they'd get back to us. So if they do get back to us in time, we'll pop it on the screen now. Hot off the press, we have heard back from InfoCrank. Very kind people let us know the weight of the crankset. And Alex, what did they say?
So they've suggested that their stronger version of the track crankset, so presumably which is going to be heavier, weighs in at 600 grams, which I think is super light.
Yeah.
It's going to vary slightly depending on what crank length you choose, but to give you some sort of comparison, a Dura Ace power meter crank weighs in at what, 752 grams?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, which lighter than that.
It is light, so they're certainly right. It is a lightweight power meter crank. There you go, job done. Speaking of 3D printing and Dimitris Katsanis, we've actually got a really cool documentary over on GCN Plus all about 3D printing, which he features in, and well, I think it's really interesting.
So if 3D printing's a bit of you, head over and check it out.
More hot tech next week. It's now time for the best bike shop in the world this week.
This is the part of the show where you submit pictures, videos, and a fancy description on why you think the bike shop you have submitted should be mentioned on our show. What have we got this week, Alex?
Right, first up, we've got a bike shop called In Rush. This was submitted by SW62W96TKC.
Wow.
Interesting username. So it's run by a couple named Mickey and Charles, and they've survived 2 major challenges in the COVID era. Mickey is mostly deaf and lip reads to communicate, which is incredibly difficult with everyone having to wear a mask. And then additionally, it's also been hard to run the bike shop during the global parts shortage. But thankfully, they've managed to adapt and serve their customers well in spite of both of these challenges. #bike shop.
I think that deserves to be best bike shop of the week.
Yeah, best bike shop in the world this week. Really like this. Look at the cool pictures. So we've got the
it
pair
does
of
look
them
like a pretty swanky bike shop, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Very trendy.
Interesting. We've got a picture before COVID, and then with all of the parts and bike shortages, and it's like half empty.
It is.
Yeah.
Everybody did want a bike in the pandemic, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. I like this bike shop. It looks pretty cool to me. So In Rush Bikes are located in a place called Fort Wayne, which sits directly in between Chicago and Cleveland, for those of you that want to know where it is.
So if you're in the area, make sure to check out.
Interesting fact, to one side of the shop is a Wendy's fast food takeaway, and to the other side is a US Postal Service. So if you need to do your post and get some food and get your bike fixed, these guys will sort you right out.
Very useful to know. Thanks, Alex.
So keep submitting your bike shops over on the GCN app because it's fun picking them out.
Use the hashtag.
Yeah.
What's the hashtag? Bike shop.
Yeah.
Hashtag bike shop.
Use the hashtag bike shop. We'll pick them up and we'll share them with the world. More bike shops next week. Now time for the Bike Vault, my favourite part of the show.
It's my favourite part.
Okay, well this is a part of the show where you upload pictures of your bike to the GCN app, and then Manon and myself, we judge them to be either nice or super nice. If they're super nice, the bell gets rung. Right, first submission this week, or actually no, the most liked from last week.
The most super nice bike from last week is actually half a bike.
What?
This one is in from Jackalope.
Jackalope?
A Look 795 blade RS disc.
Wow.
And I mean,
a very cool bike, but what on earth? There's half of the bike's missing.
I mean, maybe this is the new trend.
For all we know, it might not even have any handlebars.
Yeah. True. I mean, from what I can see, that is quite a super nice bike. Everything is, it looks very clean.
It is clean. So I was about to
aligned.
say it's set up it is set up with a 1x chainring and a GRX mech, but then also I noticed it's got the classified rear hub. So it's got that inbuilt gear shift system.
Oh, that's cool.
It's pretty cool, yeah.
Super nice.
Yeah, I'll go super nice. What?
How dare you?
Well, you took too long. Yeah. First up this week, we've got a submission from Philip Bargardner.
Canyon.
Yeah, with a Canyon in-flight cyclocross bike with 50mm pink tyres.
I mean, that pink really does make it pop, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
I quite like that. Is that a black chain or is that just a bit of a dirty chain?
I can't actually tell.
No.
But this is the in-flight AL, so real sort of sturdy bike, robust. Cranks, valves are aligned, but yeah, whatever.
Yes.
I'll go super nice on
I'd
this.
go super nice.
I'm going to be lenient. I'll let you do that.
Thank you.
Next up, who we got?
Lloyd Will with, what have we got? Absolute, oh no, it's a crank.
VMC. It's a VMC.
That's a long old.
There's a long list of parts on this bike. Right, so it's a VMC Ultra Machine 01.
There is a lot going on this bike.
Oh my
Definitely
goodness.
off on an adventure, I'd say.
I would, yeah, definitely lots of accessories. Wow, okay. Cool bike, cool setup. I'm not sure what's going on with those handlebars. I can't say I've ever seen anything like those handlebars before.
I wonder what is that to like rest them over?
It must be, it's very bizarre.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say I can't vote this as super nice.
Really?
It's a cool bike and it's a cool setup, but...
Look at the rack on it.
Yeah, I know.
That is...
Well, it's a nice from me.
Okay, it's a nice. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
I quite like the chainring as well.
Well, there you go. Next up is from Dad Ams 7378. Dadams. Yeah. Okay.
This is his son's road bike, a 12-year-old.
Oh, it's a Hup CC.
Hup.
Hup. What do you make of this?
I'd say that is pretty swanky.
Oh, yeah.
I really like the wheels.
I'm just looking. I'm zooming in now because you can see the guy's name. Oliver Adams. Nice wheels. So we're not in Biggie Smalls, but this was something that came to light on a comment underneath my own Bike Vault submission. When people were saying when there's a single chainring bike, they suggested that it should be acceptable to have it in the largest sprocket on the back.
Oh, it does work.
Yeah, it does work.
I think.
I'm going to vote this as super nice.
I'm going to vote this as super nice as well.
Yeah, do the honours. Next up is Maurizio Dall'Oro with a Villa 09 from 2017. Oh, it's round the wrong way. Oh.
It is the wrong way, but that background
on.
is very nice.
Background's nice. I do like that.
Yeah, it's kind of leant on that bridge a bit awkwardly for my liking.
It looks like the tide's in as well. Not much space on the beach, is there?
No, Pebble Beach as well.
Yeah, I think that's just going to be a nice, I'm afraid. Sorry about that.
Next up, one from Manro.
Yeah. What have we got? A Dare VSRU.
Ooh.
Quite. Oh, I like that. Yeah.
That is a very, very nice on the old eyes.
Easy on the eye.
It's very easy on the eye.
Much like me.
Debatable. And that looks like it's just had a wash because it looks very clean, very polished. That chain hits my eyes. It's so sparkly.
Yeah, I've got to say I like this bike. Very like stealthy looking.
Hand sidewalls.
Yeah. It's doing it for me. Super nice.
Would that be I think that's on the verge of a...
Go on.
I've never done this before. Oh no, where's it gone?
We'll get it next week. Right, that's the last bike for this week's Bike Vault. It also means it's the end of the GCN Tech Show. That was incredible. What a way to end the Bike Vault.
That's made my day, that has. I've always wanted to do that.
Right, hope you enjoyed the show. If you have, give this video a thumbs up, comment in the comments section down below, and don't forget, head over to the GCN app to vote on our poll so that we can discuss the results next week. You done? Should we go get some lunch or something?
Yeah, let's do it.
Right, see you later.
Cool.